Well, as you guys have guessed, since last week we've had Wizards of the Coast take over Commander, the reverses started happening on people selling off a lot of the banned cards, and now in this week's video of the hottest selling cards in Magic, we get to find out what's going on with a lot of these Commander staples. Guys, stay tuned because we have so much to cover in today's video. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today as we discuss the hottest selling cards in Magic. A reminder, if you want to support my channel but you can't afford the Patreon, well, as you're shopping on TCG Player, don't forget guys, if you use my TCG Player affiliate link in the description of all of my videos, well, you're helping support my channel in another way and I really do appreciate it. Now let's jump into the number 10 card this week, and that is Armageddon from Revised. Now, this is one of those Commander cards that's coming out of the blue here, guys. I don't know what to tell you. 1,456 sales. I had local stores asking me if I had copies available. That means a total sales volume of $14,006 in total sales. Guys, this card has never made a top 10. Since I've been doing these videos, this card has never come around, but here we are talking about it. So what's going on? Well, for 1 white and 3 other mana, this thing says all lands in play are destroyed. Now, since the invention of this card, there are other ways of protecting your land. There's cards that can give your lands indestructible. There's all kinds of ways of animating lands and then blowing them up. This card can just cripple people in Commander, and it seems like a lot of these sales are geared that way. So are you playing with one of these cards? I've got to know. Now let's take a look at the number 9 card, and this is Valalgoth, the Terror Eater. Guys, this guy was number 1 last week. I knew he was going to drop off the map, and now we get to talk about it because it's a more normal sales volume. 1,482 sales. That's still $43,852 of total sales action. Let's face it, guys, this thing is everything and a bag of chips. This is the definition of a big bad beastie. So let's take a closer look at this card. This is a 9 casting cost, 9/9. 3 black and 6 other, legendary creature, Elder Demon, flying lifelink with ward 3, sacrifice 3 non-land permanents. If a card you didn't control would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead, and during your turn, you may play cards exiled with Valalgoth. And if you cast it this way, you pay life instead of mana. That thing is just a brutal card. If you get it out, it's an ending card. It reminds me of the old school Planeswalkers. I actually like the card. Now for our next card, it's Jeweled Lotus, guys. I told you there was probably some residual sales coming up, and this is where we're at this week. 1,595 sales. That is $153,853 of sale action. Okay, now a card like this being banned, and then with Wizards of the Coast taking over and people thinking there'll be a reversal band, it caused a whole big market kind of avalanche of things being sold again. So we don't know what's going to happen in the long run. Plus people having canceled orders, people not selling the product and saying they sold out, local stores taking it off the shelf. This story is not going to go away for a while, and it's something to kind of learn from for the future. Sometimes it's better just to hold on to your stuff and ride it out. Other times you can make a lot of money in these short-term flip sales. It's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing, but it's still something to really pay attention to. That's a lot of money changing hands for Jeweled Lotus. Now let's go ahead because our next card is going to shock you again. Mana Crypt is not off my list. Eternal Masters version, $165.60. Yes, this card has lost value, but we've had a tremendous amount of sales. $265,650 of total sales action if every copy sold was near mint. And most are either near mint or light played from this particular edition. People take care of their cards nowadays. This is crazy as our number 7 card, and the fact we just saw Jeweled Lotus. And again, these are residual sales from the previous week's volume that got carried over. And of course, we have people who had bought a whole bunch when they heard that Wizards of the Coast was taking over. I know of one store that got like 15 in stock, only to resell them all. They got trade-in value, they sold some dual lands to these people, and then they sold all of their Mana Crypts out. Guys, this is just crazy back and forth day trading of Magic cards. It's something, again, to take note of. They definitely won't be here next week. I don't see it happening, but still, it's been quite a ride to see these cards go up and down. The future, untold so far. Now let's take a look at the Lord of Pain. Borderless, guys. Okay, the imagery is great. It reminds me of old school horror movies. 1,680 sales, or $6,972. $4.15 is the average for the Lord of Pain. And this thing is, of course, a pretty cool looking card. Now, when we take a closer look at this, you're going to see for the 1 red, 1 black, and 3 other mana, we get this 5/5 big bad eyeballs and a face. It's a legendary creature human assassin. It has menace. Your opponents can't gain life. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to the chosen player. Of course, this is a commander card. It makes perfect sense. People are not going to like you at this table. Add in some racks and some black vice. Have some fun with it. Maybe a pauper's cage. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our next card. This is Razer Kin Needlehead. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see this on the list for several weeks, everyone. This card, as it's been decreasing in price, has really attracted a lot of attention. 1,720 sales, which is $17,200 because it's a $10 card. But I think it's lost like $8, $9 of total sales. Like the actual value of the card just keeps dropping down now. So it's garnering a lot of attention. Now, it's a 2 red, and you can see it's a 2/2 human assassin. Now, Razer Kin, of course, has first strike during your turn, and whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage, so it kind of fits in with Valgolf, right? It's really got this thing going with the Terror Eater. Everyone's building these commander decks still, and it's just everyone's trying to find all connective tissue to make sure that they're muscling in at the right time with all the right cards. I think it's a great card. For the casting cost, this one offers a lot of value. Now let's go ahead and take a look, because our next card's getting interesting. The Patchwork Banner from Bloomburrow is still here, guys. This thing is still taking the number 4 spot. 1,734 sales, which is $7,190.40. And the interesting thing is, this card is still gaining in value. It is now over the $4 mark, and this is something to take note of because it's an uncommon. But it's not an easy to find uncommon, and it's still highly sought after. Will this mean more Bloomburrow packs are opened? No, it won't be, which means you can anticipate this card probably reaching the $5 or $6 level when you're looking at this uncommon. It's just too much in demand, and there's not enough supply. And that means the price will have to rise until we find people who are willing to sell those copies into the market. So keep an eye on this card for a fast reprint in a future set within 24 months. And if you have the card, you might want to try to find a way to unload it about 16 months from now. It's just one of those cards that's just kind of sketchy. Too much value for an uncommon. Now for our next card, we have the Untimely Malfunction. Now the Malfunction takes the number 3 spot with 3,120 sales, or $3,900 in total sales action. Because this card, again, it's only $1.25. And this card actually offers a lot of value for an uncommon, and for a really low priced uncommon at that. Now for 1 red and 1 other, the Untimely Malfunction acts as an instant. It says choose 1. You can destroy a target artifact, change the target of target spell or ability with a target, which is interesting. And of course, 1 or 2 target creatures can't block this turn. Now in a red burn deck with all the crazy cards we have, this is a very unique possibility that this card's actually going to climb in value in the next few months. We'll have to see how it plays out in some of the standard decks in the future, and if it sees major gameplay. Now for our next card, we're going with Valgos Lir, okay? This card is getting very interesting. It reminds me of Urza's Cave in the sense the interest was really high at the beginning. It's really weighing down far now, but there's still significant sales. 3,145 sales, which is still a significant amount of money. I mean, that's still $7,076.25. And this card, this may go somewhere later on. Remember, land cards are kind of at a premium when they're unique. Now, this is an enchantment land with hexproof. Valgos Lir enters tapped. As it enters, you choose a color and you add 1 mana of the chosen color. Sure, it's got the hexproof, but it does come into play tapped, which is a drawback. But of course, you do get to pick the color that it's going to go for. So you can pick any color inside your deck construction. I like the card, guys. I see it about a $5 mark. So I think this card's going to rise over time. It's something to keep an eye on. I would buy a play set of 4 for $2. Why not? Now let's go ahead and take a look at our next card, because we are at number 1, and this is not something I saw coming down the pipeline, and I haven't faced off against it yet. This is the Enduring Vitality. Now Enduring had 3,350 sales. The total sales volume is $12,462, and it has an average price tag of $3.72 US per copy. So what are we getting? Well, it's pretty good because 2 green and 1 other, we get a 3/3 enchantment creature elk glimmer. That's a mouthful. It has vigilance. Creatures you control have tap to, add any mana to your mana pool. When Enduring Vitality dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield, but now it's an enchantment, so it comes back again. Guys, a great card at a great casting cost. Although I haven't faced it, if it's having this many sales, you can bet it is being played quite often. Drop some comments about that one, because I'm kind of curious if anyone's using it right now. The market this week in Magic the Gathering sales has something to teach us and something we can really learn from for the future. A lot of these sales, I consider them stereotypical, nothing too greatly exaggerated, a lot of decent sales, cards like Duskmourn coming into their own before Foundations around the corner, and of course cards like Patchwork Banner sticking in there because that card is highly utilized, sought after, and has a lot of playability and versatility. But what are we talking about? The rules committee comes in and they go ahead and they ban some cards. It is so negative that the whole thing ends up folding. Wizards of the Coast takes over, and the players who sold all of their Jeweled Lotuses, Dockside Extortionists, Mana Crypt, not Nadu, then what happens is they want to buy them back. Wizards has kind of upturned things. They're like, well, what's Wizards of the Coast going to do? So they try to buy their cards back. Prices start recovering quickly. The sales start going through the roof. Stores that got all kinds of trade-in stock are now trading it back to people. Everything went topsy-turvy. And the market, although in the terms of we're looking at for Mana Crypt, only had half as many sales as last time, the value is still $250,000. And Jeweled Lotus, I think, actually sold more than last week. I'd have to go back and look. But it's massive amounts of money back into the market, and that's within 14 days. This is insane. This is not the norm of the Magic world we are used to seeing, and overall sales usually drop this time of year, and these two are outliers. They are supernatural, and they are scary to look at those volumes, because that means people and speculators, somebody out there cared enough to still buy these cards, trade for them, find some way to make the sale happen. And that is a lot of money to be moving in this market this time of year. Look at my videos for the last 3 years covering this stuff, and you'll really see certain patterns at certain times of the year, certain sales volumes. It is insane that much money. I can't wait to see your comments about this. And if you went and had your orders canceled, did people fulfill them? Did you have to do some trade-in? Did you not sell and you got to hold your stuff? I hope you guys put some comments in the comment section about that, because these volumes, these sales means people reverse their idea. They changed their minds and went back and bought the card back. They traded for it back. The store reversed it. Whatever happened, happened. I know a couple stores that bought like 15, 20 Mana Crypts. They sold out the day of the Wizards of the Coast announcement that they were taking over. People started showing up at the shop, trading and getting these things in. The store made a killing, guys. They didn't really mark them up that much, but they did a lot of trade-in to get them, so really they moved a lot of money. That's great. Great for the store. I mean, not so great for the players who trade these things in at 80 cents on the dollar. Anyway, crazy stuff to talk about. I want you guys to drop some comments in the comment section. Share what happened in your area. A lot of Mana Crypt showing up, a lot of sales happening. Let us know where you're from. Fill us in, because it's kind of crazy to see where we're all coming from. And the markets are so different around the world that this is a good place to kind of pair it all together. Thanks again for stopping by my channel. A reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, like and subscribe to the channel, please. It really helps us out. And we are getting closer to the 25,000 subscriber mark, which is, of course, the halfway goal to the 50K that I hope to one day get to. It's kind of like that big grand goal in the sky. You're like, I think I can get there. We're going to get there. So thanks again for stopping by. And of course, tomorrow is the reserve list top 10, and there's still some nutty sales going on there with some Urza's block cards we have to talk about, interesting stuff. And then of course my live stream will be 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. But the following weekend, which is the Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, I will be away on the Sunday, but we'll talk about it in the live stream, and I'll have to do my live stream on the Monday. So we'll talk about that so you guys are aware when it's going to happen. Thanks again for stopping by the channel, guys. Thanks for being here. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow, of course, and in the comment sections as well as the live stream. Guys, have a great one today. Crazy stuff. See you soon. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you, because these are the patrons, the lords of the board, the table champions, the party room poppers, man. The heroes who make it happen. Guys, these guys, they believe in the Soldevi. They're the Necronomicon. They know they're not in the waiting room like Beetlejuice. They are checking out the Boomstick Edition because they are the believers of this channel. The army of darkness, as it were. Thanks again, guys. Welcome back to the ramble and the jamble. You made it, guys. We're at the beginning of the end of the otherwise area where I was verithating something. That makes sense? No, probably not, but that's okay. You can get the gist of it. You're following the path. You made it past the yellow brick road. We've stopped by to say hi, and I gotta be honest, the sales are a lot higher than they should be. They are. The sales this time of year actually, especially for like numbers 5 and lower, those are actually a lot higher than normal. And for those who are interested, I know it's not a huge volume of you guys judging by the Friday video, but the overall box sales year over year are down about 20% for anything sealed. Down 20%, which may explain why some of the singles cards are actually starting to rise. Supply and demand, not as many people affording boxes or wallet fatigue, but the singles market continues to stay hot. So I think these sales are going to actually increase the closer we get to Christmas, with people trying to finish off decks, get ideas together, and treat themselves. So we'll keep on top of this. It's interesting stuff to see, but it's still a lot of singles money moving around, and if people don't buy boxes because they're expensive, single prices go up, which allows for more expensive reprints. It's a vicious cycle, guys. Scary, but true. Thanks again. Have a great one. See you soon. Ramble, jamble.